Alright, this is how I get it done. Pod HD500X. That's most of the guitar sound. And then obviously there's a little bit of EQing in the DAW afterward. Doesn't have a lot of great presets. And you have to spend a little extra money to download the metal pack, which I actually didn't even end up using. But if you know how to adjust the fine tuners inside, you can get a pretty decent metal sound. So that is the interface as well, so that goes out to the monitor speakers. I can put the microphone right into that, everything. It's got bass presets that are actually pretty decent. Come up here to Reaper. I use Reaper. EZdrummer 2, obviously. I have a lot of presets. They help get me close to where I want, or at least motivate, and then I change what I need to as the riff comes to my head. This is one called the Black Lagoon, just remixing it because didn't really get a lot of attention, and I want it to get some more attention on BandLab for some reason. I feel like I need that in my life, I guess. But it's got some sound bites in it from the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Monster Squad. Sound bites are fun. Little samples. Let's see what we're sounding like.
Listen to the sounds.
Hunting contest. Animals out for the kill.
Some of them cries of fear, like people who whistle in the dark.
So go in here to my effects for my clean guitar. I already have a preset because I've already pulled out all the frequencies I don't like. So I like to take, out of a clean guitar, I like to take bass out to about 100, and then I'll take the treble down to close to 10,000. I don't like it to be spot on. I like things to sound a little bit different every time. And then sound effects, I don't know, I just tried to, it was super trebly, so I just tried really hard to use that thing to cut the treble out. I don't even know what it does. It worked though. Then we come down here to the bass. See, since looks like I'm using my big bass, I had a big bass setting, and I've since fine-tuned it to a lower. Sounds better, I think. And then see, that one's okay, but I use the 7-string and then pull it to. Since it's not a 7-string, this one was actually done with my 6-string. I'm going to pull that to 80. Same thing here. I might leave that one at 100 just to, again, have a contrast in the guitars. sounds pretty good. I think I recorded this one a little bit better, with better knowledge. As I go back to some of my super early stuff, and I can tell, wow, I've come a long way. But one thing I do after I record it and I get all the parts the way I want them, then I'll pull the master down to about 6 or 7. And then I'll adjust volumes there, because I feel like I get a truer sense of where volume should be. But then some always go up, and that's why it's important to get as good a mix as you can. I know most of us aren't professionals, but we can get it sounding pretty decent. One thing that's important when you're doing guitars, rhythm guitars at least, is panning the guitars. Just see, I've got it left and right, hard left and right. And if you're going to do 4 parts, then you're going to want to try something like 50% on the other 2 parts. And then the lead usually just runs down the center. If I do a harmony, I'll treat it as the other 2 guitar parts and put them at like 50% each, because they need to have their own sonic space. The bass goes down the middle, and you got to mix the bass so that it doesn't steal the thunder of the kick drum and stuff. Which, if you use, that's why I like presets. For us non-professionals, presets help, and they're pretty much already set up that way. I use the stock Reaper EQs for my Easy Drummer, even though it's already mixed. I like to mix it even further, so you just have to go into the mixer in Easy Drummer and make sure it's got its own track. Otherwise, everything will be on one track. So you can have most every drum on there. The only thing I don't like about it, I'm sure it's different in Superior Drummer, is that it just has one for all the toms, not individual toms, which would be nice, but maybe I'll upgrade to Superior Drummer eventually. Given that, it sounds pretty good. I like the way it sounds pretty good from the beginning, so we'll go in and render from there. Actually, first I'll save it. Don't forget to save. I was working on a project the other night. I got about a minute into it of recorded stuff, and I did too much stuff at once, and the computer crashed, and I lost my project. Luckily, I remember most of it. And then we render. And this is just how I do it. I'm sure somebody somewhere is going to say this isn't how you're supposed to do it. From the bottom of my heart, I don't care. This is how Jay does it. So I render this whole project down to one WAV file, and then I master the WAV file. Or an attempt at mastering, because I'm definitely not a professional masterer by any means. But again, like I said, I think it sounds pretty decent. You can always spend the money, but I don't have the money, so this works for me. It gets what I want to say out of my head and into a creation. There's a song, Funny story about this song, Creature from the Black Lagoon. I wrote Frankenstein, and then Wolfman took me a little bit longer, and then I just couldn't come up with anything for Creature from the Black Lagoon because I didn't want to screw it up. It's got to have that eerie, swampy sound, and my son was messing around with his guitar. He doesn't play yet, but his was out of tune, and he was just kind of playing the notes one at a time, and it sounded like that intro. So I was like, man, that's it. I'm going to use that. So the clean part to this song was written by my son, inadvertently. Alright, so we've rendered it. We go to new. Sure, why not? Save again. Reaper is free if you're not already using it. After 2 months, they do ask you to pay $60, but they won't disable it if you don't. I do pay for it because it's a great program. I enjoy it. So I'll go to insert media file. Black Lagoon, where's my L? Black Lagoon wave, get in there.
Listen to the sounds.
Hunting calls must be. Animals out for the kill.
Some of them cries of fear, like people who whistle in the dark.
For you that don't know what I'm doing, and that's why I did this video, people ask me how I get the sound. This really makes the mix sound really good. You can do it just to an instrument in the additional, the original project, pulling frequencies out that don't sound good. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. But this is how you find them. I like to take it down, the bandwidth down to like 2 or 4, and I like to start in the middle. I don't like to take too much out of the finished mix before I master, because it should already be pretty good. But there's always about 4. I like to take 4 frequencies out, just kind of as a polisher. So it's got to be playing while you're doing it. And then come into the master track, and first thing, the multi-band compressor. Again, this one has some presets, otherwise I wouldn't know what to do. Basically, it compresses frequencies and kind of bumps them up. This one, I always go with this one. It's got punches that bass up there, so it's nice and robust, but not like over bassy. Some of my stuff's been kind of bassy, and I think it's the mastering on BandLab. I'm gonna have to go in and check. Maybe start doing it myself. They let you, or they'll do automatic, and I think they've been picking bass because of all the rappers, but who knows? It's a person for sure. Yeah, there's no robots on BandLab. Next is the stereo enhancer. Just kind of enhances it. I mean, like, it's super minuscule on what it does, but if you get a song where you've got a lot of panning, then it really does make a difference. But I can notice a difference, so I use it. important. Last one, the master limiter. I used to put that on the original project, and it sounded horrible. It would make everything dip and stuff. So, I watched some videos like you're watching now, and I like to put it, and you should always put it the last in the chain, because then it compresses everything, limits everything. If you put it like stereo enhancer, I would have after the master limiter, and then it would peak. We don't want any peaking, so you just keep that master limiter right there. I try not to have to adjust anything. It's pretty good right where it's at from the beginning. You always want your limit at, minus 0.1.
Get back, Dave. Get back.
All right. And then one thing you never want to forget, you got to go, I used to forget this a lot, go to the end and see how the end is going. Do we need to, you probably want to see it. Is it, need to be faded out? How does the end sound? Pretty good. Good enough. Go through the motions, and then I'll save it, I'll render it again, and I'll upload it to BandLab. Hope this has been somewhat of a help to you. I never use BandLab's editor. I know everybody does, but good for you. I don't. It's a pain in the ass, so I like to use Reaper. I might upgrade someday to something else, but I don't know why I would if Reaper's doing the trick for me. So we'll see. And then I got a couple other songs I'm working on, so I might do another video tonight of me working on the one. There's two of them that are, well into production, so we'll see which one I decide to work on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The videos will get better, I promise.